Back in March, I put out a video that it takes 39 years for the average person to purchase a home in the Greater Toronto area, and that number is going to change quite drastically on December 15th, 2024. Let's break down why that number is going to change and do a recap of that previous video compared to where things are going to be at today. I'm Ouzas. I'm a realtor here in Toronto. If you want to discuss what these new real changes will mean for you as a first-time buyer or a step-up buyer in the Toronto real estate market, click on that first link down below for a New Year strategy session, and let's get you set up for 2025 and your real estate goals. It's been about 8 months now since this article and this video came out. Toronto, Fraser Valley, and Greater Vancouver are at the top of this list with an over a $200,000 down payment required. And here's the average price points for these areas. So $1,026,000 Greater Toronto in January. If you've seen the stats video, that number actually went over 1.1 in February. Fraser Valley at $1,010,000 and Greater Vancouver just over 1.25 million. Now it is mentioning that the median total household income. So here's from that original article back in March 2024 of this year, where it does break down all the different areas and different cities. At that time, the Greater Toronto area, it would cost you $205,341 for your minimum down payment, which is 39 years to save that. The way they calculated that was 6.2% of the annual income based on household saving rate in Q4 of 2023 from Stats Canada. Well, this number is going to change drastically. And the biggest reason why these numbers came in at where they're at, especially where you have the Greater Toronto area, Fraser Valley, and Greater Vancouver over the $200,000 mark, was because up until December 15th, 2024, the minimum down payment, once you hit that $1 million mark across Canada, is 20% down. This number is changing to 1.5 million on December the 15th, 2024. Here's a look at what these new down payments will look like, and that number may shock you. I've created this spreadsheet to break down what exactly the old 20% down payment would look like, and it's still very much an option. So essentially this is changing the way the minimum down payment is calculated, which before December 15th, 2024 was 5% on the first $500,000, 10% on the difference between the $500,000 to $999,999, and then 20% from the $1 million plus. Now things are changing to 5% of the first $500,000 and 10% on the difference between $500,000 to $1,499,999. So up to that $1.5 million mark, you no longer need to put down 20% on that purchase. If we were to redo this chart, and the average sale price in the city of Toronto has been kind of hovering around that 1.1 all year. In fact, it's actually been hovering around 1.1 since pretty much July of 2022. The minimum down payment required at that number would be $85,000. And that's a huge difference of where things are at today, which at 1.1 million, you'd be required to put down $220,000. Now that's a $135,000 difference for the minimum down payment as of December 15th, 2024. If we take a look at this list, it would put it only about $20,000 to $30,000 more for the minimum down payment than cities like Hamilton, Victoria, even Kitchener, Waterloo. We've been getting asked a lot on what this could mean for the Toronto real estate market, and well, we don't exactly have a crystal ball. What we can say is the most active price point for Toronto home buyers is between 1 million and 1.5 million. And that makes sense because that's typically your entry into the freehold housing market in the Greater Toronto area and in the city of Toronto. There are plenty of buyers out there who would be limited by a down payment versus the qualification for the mortgage. Now, with these new rules, you still have to qualify. So if you can afford a $1.1 million mortgage amount each month, but you don't quite have the 20% down payment, that's where this rule could really be a benefit to you as a home buyer, because now you don't need to save up quite as much for the down payment. That being said, there is an element of mortgage insurance that will be added to the mortgage. And another new incentive coming in on December the 15th, 2024 is a 30-year amortization on those payments. And this could offset the payments for the additional mortgage balance that would be remaining by not putting down the 20%. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the comments down below on what you think this will do to the Toronto real estate market heading into the start of 2025. I'm Ouzas. Thanks for watching.